So in our last tutorial, we took our newly designed Chromebot 3000 and added a new dance move to him by manipulating his limbs and making him pose himself in various ways. We learned about onion skinning, which is a process of using visual hints of what the last costume looked like to reposition our costume in a smooth kind of movement. All right, so now that we have the infrastructure laid out, I've gone ahead and created some other dance moves, and we're going to learn how to use custom blocks to create a beautifully timed choreography that's going to bring all these dance moves together into a nice looking little musical production. So stay tuned for that. So we're back inside our Chromebot 3000 project, which we've been using to learn how to draw and animate robots for a robot idol competition. So you can see our Chromebot 3000 has a lovely dance move here that I've dubbed the Egyptian, where he moves his arms up and down in kind of a characteristic hieroglyphic sort of pose here. And he's moving his legs and head at the same time. The code that we set up last week isn't really all that complicated. It's basically cut up into 3 chunks. First of all, we've got us switching to the first costume in the series, the default costume in this case. Then we go through 4 costume changes with a little delay in between. And then at the end of that, we go backwards by going switch costume to costume number -1. And we just repeat those same 4 steps backwards, and that brings us back to the beginning again. Once we put that into a forever loop, you'll see that we basically have a full dance move. Beautiful. So what we're going to be doing this week is automating this process using custom blocks. I did a full tutorial on how to use custom blocks, this mysterious section of Scratch that very few new users have any understanding of. And this is the perfect place to use it because we're going to be adding dance moves to our robot. I've already gone ahead and created 2 new dance moves that basically are going to follow the same kind of code structure. Repeat a number of costumes and then repeat them backwards again. And let's have a look at the 2 dance moves that I've created. So in addition to the Egyptian, we have a move here called the spin that I did during my live stream last week. I created this live and I had my robot kind of go into an upside down flip maneuver here, and then he can go backwards through that. There's another move here. These are all labeled, by the way. So here's my kick move here. It's labeled kick, and the frames after that are labeled kick 1, 2, or actually I don't have a 1 for some reason, but 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. And then we go out into kind of a kicking motion here. So just by starting at the beginning costume of these, in this case the spin starts in costume 7, and then cycling through all the costumes using the same kind of code, we can get all of these dance moves set up here. So for example, here's the spin, which actually involves 10 costumes, our starter costume, and then 9 costume changes, and then a little pause in the middle, and then a backwards movement again. So let's look at that spin animated. There we go. Not 100% realistic, but you get the idea. And here's that kick maneuver. Same idea. This time we have 6 costumes, so we're going to start at kick, repeat 5 times, pause, and then go back to the beginning again. Let's have a look at that. Beautiful. Okay, so we've got 3 different dance moves, and I think that's all that I'm going to add. You're welcome to remix this file and create your own dance moves, and if you create something cool, I will add it to this file so that other people can look at it as well, and I'll certainly show it on my live stream. Okay, so what we're going to do is use custom blocks to take a lot of the work out of synchronizing these animations and getting them working properly. So this is really the code that I need to build this guy. Let's get rid of the forever loop here. So this block of code here represents what the Egyptian dance means. It means go to your default costume, switch costumes, and then go back. So we can turn that into a custom block now by going to the My Blocks, clicking on Make a Block, And we'll just start off with a basic configuration here. So I'll call this, I'll name this after my dance move, the Egyptian, or I'll say do the Egyptian. There we go. We won't worry about parameters now, though we'll be adding some in a minute. And so once I take these blocks and add them to this define block here under do the Egyptian, now I have a new block here called do the Egyptian that I can click and summon this dance move from. And so by doing that for the rest of my moves here, I can actually start to assemble a whole library of dance moves that I can call on when I'm trying to choreograph this dance move. Let's just go ahead and quickly create 2 more blocks for the other 2 dance moves. And now you can see that I have 3 different dance moves that I can rearrange and set up on my screen however I want. And so right here under this this green flag, I can start to design my dance choreography. So here we go through a kick and then an Egyptian and then a spin. And then we could add another kick down below, for example. And we can just start building an entire dance routine here. Duplicate, we'll do another spin, another kick, and then maybe a spin here. And just by kind of randomly putting these together, we can come up with a fun little dance routine with enough randomness in it that it feels like the robot's kind of making it up as he goes along. Let's give it a look. Looking good. So if we want to get fancy with these custom blocks, we can also add some inputs or parameters, which are basically little bubbles beside these commands that will allow us to control different aspects of the dance. For example, if I want to change this do the Egyptian block and make it so that he will repeat this maneuver more than once, I can add a little bubble on the side that says do the Egyptian 5 times. How do we do that? Well, let's go in and edit our existing do the Egyptian block here. I'm going to right click on it and select the edit, which is going to bring us back into this menu again. And so right after the word do the Egyptian, well, first of all, I'm going to add a space after the word Egyptian just to create a little bit of room here to make this look prettier. Then I'm going to click on the word add a number text input. That's going to create a bubble inside here where we're going to type the number of times. So number of repeats. We're just labeling this so that it makes sense to anyone who goes back to the code. You're not going to see that word. We want at the end to have the text say this many times. We actually want that word times to be listed here. So I'm going to click on add a label, and this part will be visible. So I'm going to add a space here so there's lots of room around that bubble, and I'm just going to type in the word times. When I click OK, you're going to see the new configuration of our shape here. It says do the Egyptian blank times. Okay, so how do we translate that into multiple movements of this motion here? Well, we're going to need to take this bubble here that says number of repeats and put it somewhere where we're actually controlling the number of times we repeat around this loop. So let's go ahead to our control blocks and grab a repeat 10 loop. We'll put all of this code inside it and reconnect it to our custom block. So this is repeating 10 times here, but if we drop this number of repeats, so we've this little bubble that we grabbed from inside our custom blocks and drop it here, when it comes to the repeat look, it's going to look to whatever you typed into this dot here to figure out how many times to repeat around the loop. So if I type 5 times here, for example, and then click the green flag, you should do the Egyptian 5 times. Let's give it a try. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Beautiful. So one other thing we can do here is we could also change the speed of this. If we're going to be coordinating this movement to music, then we're going to want to very carefully time this stuff so that our guy's dance moves fit in with the choreography of the music. So that's going to mean taking this 0.1 second wait time and occasionally changing it to a slightly different number here. So we're going to create another one of these parameters, and this one saying the delay time between frames. So let's go ahead and edit that again. And we're going to go do the Egyptian 5 times. And we don't need to add a new text block because we've got a delay, a time here. So let's just add a comma with delay, and then I'll put a space there. We should always leave space around our text so that things don't look too crowded inside our custom blocks. And then we're going to add another input here, and we'll just need a name for that input, so we'll call it delay again. Beautiful. And so if you've been following along here, you'll know that we have our new block here with a little bubble that says delay, and we want to put that in the spot where the amount of the delay is. So we'll put the delay right here, and we'll duplicate that and put it down here in both spots where there's some delay. All right, so now I can take that number 0.1 and pop it in there, and it should continue doing that same dance pose. But now if we want to go faster at any point, we can pick a smaller number. So let's go 0.05, which is double that speed, and let's try that again. There we go. And we can try 0.02, which is even faster. There we go, and now he's dancing quite quickly. So by manipulating this number now, we're going to be able to change the speed of the dance to match up with our music. I'm going to go ahead and do that for my other 2 dance moves, and then we can start to add some music. Okay, so I have my dance moves set up with proper parameters now, and now I have quite a bit of control over how many times and how quickly my robot's going to go through these various moves. And that's giving me enough control now that I can actually go in and start choreographing how this is going to fit to the music. Now, you can use any of your own music. You can pull up one of your favorite songs and have your robot dance to that. Just for simplicity though, I'm going to use one of the built-in dance soundtracks that's built right into Scratch. I've already preloaded this sound here called Dance Energetic, which is a pretty good one. You can hear the real driving beat behind this music. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And you'll want to use that beat to synchronize your movements. One of the things we're going to do to make it a little bit easier here is I'm just going to take one bar, just 4 notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to delete the rest of it. So what I'm going to do is make a duplicate of this Dance Energetic, and I'll just call this one Test. So I've renamed this track, and I'm just going to basically play it through until I count 4 beats. So right after this peak here in the sound wave, we're just going to want to delete everything after that. So what I've done here is isolated 1 bar of music. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, and I can use that to see whether, so these are going to be the individual sentences and the kind of paragraph of dancing that I'm putting together here. So whatever he's doing, he should be done at the end of 1 bar. So for example, if I'm going to get him to do a certain dance, like the Egyptian, for example, I want him probably to do it 4 times in the course of that one playing of the 1 bar of music to time it properly. Now that takes a bit of playing around, but let me show you an example here. So let's do it for the Egyptian. I do want him doing this 4 times in the first bar of music. So let's start playing that sound. We don't want the playing of the test sound to interfere with the music, which is why we're not using the play sound until done, because then it's going to finish playing the music first and then do the dance. Yeah, we don't want that. So that's why we use a start sound here, and we'll start our sound playing, and we'll see how well synchronized this is to the music. So let's max it out and play this 4 times and see how long it takes him to get through this dance. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. And he's still going long after the music is done, right? So we're going to have to go faster than 0.1. Let's try cutting that speed in half. So half of the 0.1 is 0.05. And so let's see how that goes. So you can see he still keeps moving a little bit after the music stops there, so we're not 100% there yet. Let's try something just a little bit slower. How about 0.04? So let's count out his actual arm movements and see how they coincide with the music of the dance. 1, 2, 3, 4. So still a little bit too fast. Let's change it to 0.03 and try that out. And now he's too fast. So we know the answer is somewhere between 0.03 and 0.04. So let's try splitting the difference and just adding a 5 to the end of that. So 0.035. That's how finicky you have to be if you want to be really deadly accurate with these times. Now for some of our dance moves that's not going to be as important, but for this one in particular, I really want his arms to raise exactly in time with the music. And I think that's really going to give it a nice professional look. So let's try 0.035. 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. You know, that's not bad. I could probably tweak it just a little bit more than that, but I'm thinking I'm pretty happy with that. So the proof will be if we do it a couple of times now. So let's try it with the original song, which is actually 16 beats. They're 4 bars long. So we'll play Dance Energetic 16 times here and see how well that times out now. That's pretty darn close, and he ended it just at the right time. Now, as I said, with some of these dance moves, it's not going to be as important here. Let's try have him do the kick 4 times here. And we'll try a slower speed, like 0.5, and see what that looks like. We want it faster than that. So let's try 0.2. Just a matter of playing around with it till you find something that looks natural with the music that we're playing here. So that's pretty good the way that it is. We could probably do it, fewer times here. So let's try just doing it 1 time, and we'll try playing it with the short test track. So yeah, we just, the timing's pretty good here, but I do want to synchronize it with that beat. So let's try one more time and just get a sense of where this is. So he's a little bit slow, right? Because he's not ending on the right beat here. So let's try speeding it up a bit. We'll try 0.15 and see how that works. Yeah, there we go. That was pretty good. One more time. Good, and he's finishing right at the end of the beat. Again, we'll try it with the longer version of the song, Dance Energetic, and we'll get him to do it 4 times. Remember, he has more moves in this particular dance, so the time is not going to be the same as it was in our Egyptian dance. Okay, here we go. And hey, that's pretty good. That's close enough. Okay, beautiful. So, and lastly, we'll do it one last time with the spin. So let's have so the spin is going to, let's try just doing that once. We don't want to do that multiple times. And we'll try a delay of 0.2 here and see how that works with the short version of the music. I think actually we probably want him to get in and out of that spin in that first bar. Eh? Let's give it a try and see what that looks like. So we'll click the green flag. Yeah, so I think we're pretty close there actually. So the spin encompasses him turning and then him coming back again, and that's probably about 2 bars in length basically. So if we do this twice, and if he ends back on his feet again, then we'll know the timing's pretty good at 0.2 seconds. Let's try that one more time. And he's not quite there, eh? So if you were really finicky about this, you might want to fiddle with it a little bit. So instead of going 0.2, let's try 0.18. Just a little trial and error until we get something that looks really good. And there you go, and he finishes just as the music is ending, so that's perfect. Okay, so now that we've got the timings pretty good, we can start to string these together and get ourselves a little dance. We'll start with that Egyptian. So let's try just one bar of that, followed by doing the kick once. And then the Egyptian again 4 times. And then we'll do a spin. And somewhere in there, we're going to have to restart the music again. So one thing I can do to solve that music problem is I'm just going to get the music playing in an endless loop. We want it in a different part of the program that's separate from the main loop here. So I'm just going to tell it to play forever. We can't use the start sound anymore. It's just going to start glitching because we're trying to restart that sound over and over again because we're in a loop here. So let's change that sound to a play sound. Dance energetic until done, and when it's finished playing that first time, it'll play it over and over again. And now we can see what this final dance is going to look like without worrying about the music ending. So here we go. There we go. Nice. And so once we get a sense of how long this song is, and we can get it playing in here the proper number of times, or flip around our music to do it perfectly. But so I hope you're getting a sense of how we would go about choreographing this. It's a little bit finicky, and you really don't have to go crazy with this. This dance will still look good if you just use like default speeds. Like if I go 0.1 here for all of these, we still have a perfectly good looking dance. What I'm trying to do is show you guys how to finesse it to make your dance really, really sharp looking and timed properly the music. But there's nothing wrong with doing it this way. Let's have a look at just this boring default. Okay, that's beautiful. So I think we'll leave it at that. Next week, we're going to add just a little bit more complexity to this. I'm going to show you a method for getting our guy to move across the dance floor in such a way that he moves backwards and forwards and left and right across the dance floor. But it's going to look a little bit weird here, so we're going to add some 3D effects that make our robot get smaller as he approaches this area and bigger as he moves forward on the screen. And so we're going to have him, while he's doing these dance moves, kind of move around the dance floor. And we'll be using some message commands to do that, and a couple of other tricks that I will show you in the next episode. So stay tuned for that.